Hello.
Hi.
Hi, Tasha. How are you?
Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
Oh,
Thanks.
fabulous.
Thanks for giving me this opportunity to discuss this important issue together with you. I'm really, really
Oh,
grateful.
it's my honor actually.
Great, great, great. I'm so happy about that. So, how's life generally? How's everything going?
So far, so good. But I have now two kids crying, so you might be losing me in between.
Okay, that's no problem. That's no problem at all. Good, 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 good. Let's wait for the other guests a little bit. They are yet to
Alrighty.
join. Yeah. I really hope they don't find it difficult to join. It should be easy. Did you find any difficulties joining it?
No, and I'm actually connected to my phone right now, so
Oh,
there is no
great.
problem. Yeah.
Per- Perfect. Perfect. I chose this software, this streaming software, StreamYard, because looking at their description, it seems very easy to be able to use it.
See, I don't know anything about this technology. I'm like a Stone Age man, and honestly,
All right.
nah, not for me.
We're all learning this. There's no problem at all.
That's true.
Good, good.
How's your
Well,
family doing?
we're doing great. We're doing absolutely great.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah, of course we live in a very great country. Weather-wise, it's not like the
Mhm.
UK where it's always raining.
No, that was a punch. No, it's not that bad, honestly. I thought
Good.
it's gonna be worse. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The Of course we're in the winter season at the moment. There's a little bit of cold, but it's manageable.
Yeah. Well, that's January for you, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, is it? It
We
is.
cry. You know how it is. Like now that you are basically officially an European, right? You
Good.
cry, you cry at summer because it's hot, and you
Uh-huh.
cry at winter because it's cold. So
And I
there is
suffer.
always a chance to complain about something.
That's true. That's true. I suffer from allergies as well.
Oh, I believe you.
Something that I never had this problem before in my life. Well, I live in a part of Italy where this problem is very rampant.
Oh,
So
okay.
just to buttress on the point of me becoming a European.
Well, yeah, then you're gonna be like me.
Unbelievable.
Mhm.
Good, good, good. Why are the guests not coming in? I hope they don't have any problem joining.
Don't know.
Mm, It'll be easy. Maybe I should. It's not quite a good idea. Can you see me very well? What is the frame of my video like?
Well, I see your half face basically, to be honest.
Okay.
Oh, the other side, yeah, yeah, that's much better now. Yeah,
Okay.
a little bit more center it. Yes, that's
Mm,
better.
Okay. Let me do it better again. Trying to set the camera.
You get all cozy. It's gonna be a bumpy ride.
Mhm. No. What's going on? Okay. Okay. I think it's better this way.
Yeah.
Perfect. And is the audio clearer? Can you hear me better?
It's basically almost the same, to be honest. I heard you before as well, so
Okay. Okay.
Maybe this time is a bit echoing a little bit more than before.
Okay, let me see. How is it this time around?
Yeah, better.
Better. Okay, perfect.
Hmm.
Nice. Thanks for being my backup engineer.
Don't make me feel too special, eh? It might get into my head.
Uh, of course. Anyway, before the other guests come in, I think we should start. But I don't want to keep neither you nor them here for the whole day.
All right.
And the purpose of this discussion is actually as a result of the fact that in the past few days I had series of discussions with my friends.
Hmm.
Some
Right.
of them, some of them here in Italy, and some of them in another country, other
Hmm.
European country, and two of them in the United States, and some of my friends as well in Africa. So
Right.
what is going on these days? A lot of our parents, in this particular case, our fathers, are lonely. Some of them live alone in this their quote and unquote big mansion because
Hmm.
their children are all grown up, and
Yeah.
there is a huge shift not only in generation. I can't even describe it as a generational gap. There is a new way of life in my country as well, whereby it is no longer like it used to be back in the days where children in this case, other adults have kids. I'm
Yeah.
speaking I'm speaking in terms of our fathers, for instance, like us having children, whereby like it used to be in my country, some of our kids will leave it with our parents
Yeah.
in their houses, and they end up giving a kind of helping hand to their grandparents. But these days, most of us are living very, very far away from our parents. And our fathers oftentimes are not the one traveling from one city or one country to the other visit their children. I don't know
Yeah.
if I should describe it as a problem of as a pride, egoistic, or something. It's just something of a nature in them. Men hardly travel to go and visit their daughters, or maybe sons having families in another city. They usually don't do it. In this particular case, I'm speaking specifically of us Nigerians and most Africans.
Yeah.
And this is the reason why I believe your point of view will be very helpful in this discussion, because I can't speak correctly concerning the European perspective or aspect in this situation. But this is the case in which we find ourselves today. Our fathers that actually took care of us happens to be living alone today without having any kids around them. And most of us as well find it difficult to communicate constantly with our parents. So
Yeah.
my question, therefore, is the need of having a father still important to us as adults?
Hmm.
I'm curious to know why being a grown-up person, do you need a father in your life?
May I answer to that?
Absolutely.
All
The
right.
show is the show is open.
All right. So, okay, I will ask, I'll answer like that briefly. Yes and no, right? Where I'm
Okay.
coming from, based on my story, the way I grew up, not just my family, but society in general,
Hmm.
I can say that yes, even as a woman, yeah, a father figure is somebody you look forward to because you know what? I think they bring certain maturity into the family, like some sort of stability. Regardless of the upbringing, we see a man in a family as I would say like a stature, like he's there, he provides, he takes care, he provides safety. You understand? We look forward to that and we want to learn from it as well, even as a woman. you
Good.
know? I mean, I see now my husband, for example, are around kids, and I have a daughter as well. And seeing her, like, yeah, she looks up to him. Although there are certain things, obviously, he as a man cannot teach her, or maybe it's not even good that he teaches her, right? But
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's important that he's there. Now, as an adult, in my case, do I need a father figure? I think not anymore. That I came to a stage, or maybe I even got used to it, growing without him, and I became so basically addicted of a help of my mom alone. Not even a stepdad that I have, you know. Like I do come to him for, like, I don't know, when it comes to fixings and some maintenance job and stuff. But other
Mhm.
than that, as a woman, I don't need that figure anymore. I lost that need for it, I think. Now, if I grew up with him and I had him by my side all the time, I believe, based on what I'm seeing around, it's good to have him. So I can't answer for them, but I see that there is connection between fathers and daughters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, of course.
So I'm both sided on this, yes and no, to certain extent, and then also depends on how you grew up with. Did you have a father with you or not?
Will you
That's
like to go to your kids for a moment? I hope they don't need something so urgent because they seem to be crying.
no, they're gonna you're gonna hear a little bit of crying, but I think that we are good. If I need to go, I'll let you know.
All right, perfect, perfect. Thank you so much for your answer. And if you don't mind, I would like to ask some other questions based on your answer. Uh,
Right.
you said as a kid, somehow it's when you were still younger, it was somehow necessary for you to have your dad around.
Yeah.
Now, being an adult, you most likely don't need it no more. Why is that?
Like I said, I think that I got used to it. But when I was younger, I think that more of a nut, I needed him, as a little girl.
Mhm.
When you need that, also to show me how does it look when a man respects a child's mother, loves her. You understand? So then I know what I need to choose in my future. Now, don't get me wrong, I chose good, right? I'm happy with my choosing. I'm married for like 13 years almost, and I'm happy in my marriage. But what if I didn't? Because I never had that role model. Like, nobody was there to teach me how does it look when a man loves a woman, loves a mother. Because loving a woman and loving a mother is also like a little bit different, you know?
Mhm.
Because before children, I think the love is a little bit different. Is that lust? Um, there is more into it. When the children come along, it's like loving as a family,
Mhm.
loving your future. Looking up to it, right? So it
Mhm.
does change a little bit, and I think that I did miss that. Um, and now, like I said, I think that I personally just got used to it. Like, he was never part of my life when it comes to like a bigger magnitude. I did see him, I
Yeah.
did visit him, but I got used to it. He's not there. He will never be. He missed my important events. Um, I never had the chance to call him and have him there for me. Even in my hardest times, I did reach a couple of times. He didn't show any interest, so then you just get on with it. So I was learning from my mom then to be a different kind of strong woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good. What could have been what could he have done better, in your opinion, based solely on your experience? What could he have done better?
Um, Show me that he cares, that I am an important part of his life, regardless of what happened between him and my mom. That it's not my fault, you know, not to give me, because with this, when you don't reach to your child, I think when especially, teenagers, we go through different emotions,
Yeah.
right? We go through different hormones, different things going on in our mind, and I
Yeah.
think that's the time when I felt like he betrayed me and everything is my fault at the same time. Does this bother you?
No, I think if there is a need, if there's a need for you to attend to them, I wouldn't mind. If are they okay?
Well, I hope so. They're a bit upset, but they're gonna be fine.
Okay, perfect, perfect. That's a very important point that you raised there. If he had been around, he would have been able to show you things in a very different way than I
You
mean
know
from.
what? I think as a child, that's all you actually want. I mean, I know, like, I've lived in an African culture now for some time, so if I might bring this in, like the difference, right? You see a father a lot of times as like that main financial provider, and
Good.
that's how you grew up. That's how
Mhm.
your culture is. But for me, I see a father figure of much deeper level than, I mean, financially. Yes, okay, but we have mothers in our cultures that are working hard as well. So if father doesn't, a mom will. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
they will meet halfway and just provide it for you.
yeah.
Um,
That's
so
the the thing is that even in an African family, if they both work, they still manage to find that time to be there for their family, for their kids. The thing, what I really believe is that when two people are together as a parent, like what most researches have shown psychologically and otherwise, a nuclear family composed of two parents is the best environment for a child to grow. That is why, irrespective of our position concerning divorce and otherwise, it is still encouraged today for two people to stay together, find a way to figure out their problem for the sake of their kids. This has been a standard over the years in the Africa culture. And although it's changing, because today we are really very selfish, there is an amount of selfishness
mhm.
garnished with this slogan or idea of self-care, mental health. I'm not trying to underestimate mental health whatsoever. So what I'm just trying to say is that from whatever justification that we could come up with this time around to separate as a family, in this particular case, for selfish reason, we do it. We no longer have that patience anymore. And I think the law as well also do not help us to some extent. One thing is to have a right. Another thing is to try to build that knowledge or emphasize the importance of duty with the rights that we have as well. If you have a child, I think it is your duty as a parent to put the well-being and welfare of that child as foremost.
Definitely, when it comes to welfare and like security in general and whatever, yes. But for example, I am grateful that
Mhm.
the separation happened,
Good.
because I know that if he stayed with my mom, I wouldn't know a happy family. And I rather than have a separated family and know a happy me and mom than having to live in a fear of when the explosion is gonna occur.
Good.
So I don't know. I still sometimes get jealous, and that's like really, really childish of me to say. Um, when I hear like stories even of younger kids and they separated, but I hear how the father is still that, a role
Mm.
in a life. He calls a child, he takes a child for holidays, he buys child, I don't know, a new iPhone. You get what I mean? Because I
If
never had that. And I always say, and maybe that's why I'm also a little bit more pushy on my husband alone, because I'm always telling him, listen, life's too short, kids are gonna grow up, put the effort in now. And I'm keep pushing, pushing, pushing because of my own experience, right?
yes, that's so true.
So
The but the fact still remain, if he had been there, things would have been different. I think that is what I'm able to figure out from your discussion so far. If he had been there, it would have been a very different ball game entirely for you. But he wasn't there.
yeah,
Then my question, therefore, is based on your experience, because I do believe there are a lot of people around the world that will relate with your story, because although being unique, it is similar to a lot of cases around the world.
unfortunately.
Good. My question, therefore, is there a mistake, or rather, is it ever possible for our fathers to be forgiven of this grave error that they make, like in your case?
Whew, I struggled for a long, long time about this. And I came to the conclusion I forgave because of myself, not because of him. Because by the time that I was struggling, I was going through emotions. Like I went to a stage where I felt hate towards him. I was so angry. I started hating him.
Mhm.
And in my case, his health is not the best. So I still worry. But that's gonna be very bad to say of me, probably. But I came now. I forgive you, but I don't. I stopped trying. You know, I can't anymore because it hurts. Although when you grow up, and you create your own family and you're an adult, so to speak, society recognizes you as a mature person now.
Mhm.
Um, I struggle sometimes with my little girl emotions, and I get like very frustrated, and like I will say in the outside, no, I'm strong, it doesn't hurt me, it doesn't affect me, but inside I'm dying. So in order for me to move from that, I said to myself, I do forgive him because maybe he was too young, maybe he was too selfish. We all go through different stages in our life. And
Yeah.
now being that he is at certain level and I am at certain level, maybe he doesn't even know how to reconnect, or maybe he doesn't want to because he also got used to being without me.
Mhm.
And I need to stop blaming him for that because I need to move forward. It's not about him or making him feeling better. No, because at the end of the day, it's up to him whether, he's gonna move from that shell out or not. I
Yeah.
did because of me, my kids, and my external family too, because it did have some effect on them as well. Yeah.
Mm.
Now, if I may just add here, not everybody can be forgiven as well. I think that it also depends on the situation they've been going through with
Yeah.
father in this case. Some
If
some things are unforgivable, and
I asked that question not necessarily to put you on the spot, but like I said earlier on, a lot of people could be going through this as well. At the
yeah,
time, an issue could have happened in our life. It could be 30 years ago or 20 years ago. A lot of time has gone by, and we have
yeah,
a new perspective about life today. So the aspect of forgiveness, I'm not looking at this from the point of view of being religious or not. I am just saying,
yeah,
as a human being, as a civic human being that is civil, someone that is civil, so to say. And I think forgiveness is something that is important in our life, even for us to be able to move ahead. Because if our heart, deep down in our mind, we still have this burden on our shoulders, it will be really, really difficult to move forward in life. Uh, This is my opinion, and I genuinely believe this because you can't go forward if your heart is where you are coming from. And I have pondered upon this for a while because the first question that I asked actually was born out of this issue of
Yeah.
forgiveness. If, as an adult, irrespective of what has happened in the past, do you still need a dad in your life? I think that is something, even for anyone that has gone through what you have gone through in life, with respect to your relationship with your dad, I will suggest, when it is possible, to experiment with the idea of forgiveness as well. To, in my opinion, to conclude that aspect of healing, that healing process that I genuinely believe we all need to have to be to manifest the best of us.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe this. So whatever may have happened, or let me put it to you, if your dad comes to you today and asks for forgiveness, what will you do?
When it comes to that, I think that I forgave. I think that I did. Did I do it fully? I don't know. Maybe I need to research within myself. But if you ask me now the general question, have you? I think that I did. You know. Um, Now again, maybe if I would visit a therapist right now, we would say no, you didn't. I don't know. But yeah, I am. I like. I'm gonna be a smart ass now, right? And say yes, I did.
Good. Anyway, let's just before we continue the discussion, let me welcome our guest, the Mr.
Yeah.
Ty, who has just joined us. You're most welcome, sir.
Hi.
Good evening. Hi.
Good, good
How are we
Hi.
evening.
doing?
Very
Oh,
great. Very
very good.
great.
Yeah.
Nice
Yeah,
being here.
good. Before you came in, we have started the discussion already so that we don't keep everyone waiting.
Yes, yes, yes. I lost the track of time. Sorry for that.
No, no, there's nothing at all. The most important thing is that you are here, and I thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And myself and Mrs. Tasha has actually been discussing concerning our father, of course, due, with respect to the topic of the
Okay.
day.
Yeah.
Even though you may have missed the beginning of the of our discussion,
Adi.
just just like I asked Mrs. Tasha from the beginning, my question was, as an adult, of course you yourself, Mr. Titus, you are a father.
Yeah.
Do someone who is a grown-up, an adult, need a father in their life? If yes, why?
Definitely yes. Why? Because the fatherly guidance, there is no limit to it. From
Okay.
birth, even while you are, let me say, 50, 60 years, if
Mhm.
your father is alive, he will still be guiding you.
Okay.
Why? Because we grew up with parents who don't want you to put your hand in anything that is bad. We grew up with parents who don't want you to, like, especially their daughters, they don't want you to wear promiscuous clothes. We grew up with parents who nurtured you in their best interest. They want you to do what is right because at their old age, the community at large is looking up to them. They will not want you as their own child to come and disgrace them. When they come to the community or a section of the country you are from,
Mhm.
the world today we have is a global village. So communication is easy. A father who has so much respected himself, built around himself good things, and the community or even the country at large respects him a lot, at the end of the day, if you, the child, go to another country and do what is contrary to what he has taught you, definitely it's coming back on him, because now we have a situation where in Italy per se, there was a situation they have to, from this country, go and arrest somebody in Abuja,
Mm.
issue of misconduct or whatever. So this is someone who has gone to the family, and it, to me, is a big slap on their face and a disgrace to that community she's coming from. You will not expect a father to be happy. You have lived your years abroad, like 15, 20 years. You've returned to them, they are happy, and the next thing, the police people came, they arrest you, extradite you from your country, and take you back to wherever you have committed this crime.
Mm.
So that's why, even no matter the age you are, if your father is still alive, if you talk with him always, he will definitely guide you, counsel you, my son or my daughter. You remember the family you are coming from, you know the don't and do. He will keep
Can
reminding
I
you those things.
Yes. Okay.
Okay,
can I
I think
ask you something? Sorry. Can I just
Yeah.
yeah,
ask you something? What would you say if that father figure doesn't want to do that?
if the father
What?
doesn't want to do that,
Yeah, because listen, there are fathers, right? I love your culture because I
yeah,
feel like no matter what the situation is, I think that each parent knows where they stand, right? And
yeah,
they know that once they become a parent, they are parent until the day they die. And I
mm,
like that about your culture, but like where I'm coming from, that's not the case. So what would
okay,
you say? Like, because obviously I love hearing what you said and I really appreciate it,
yeah.
but what about the fathers that don't want to be that guidance? They don't want to be involved. What would
Okay,
you
they
say
don't want
about
to
that?
be involved with the,
A
they don't
father,
want to,
a
if they don't
father
want to be involved with the children, right?
guiding their
Yeah.
children and playing their father's role.
Okay, them not playing their fatherly role. First, first, I think what we have to look into is the background, how the mother to the kids and himself has raised these children. There are fathers who are nonchalant of their duties. I know that they they don't want to perform their duties. There might be some certain reasons, because there is one thing I tell people, like where I'm coming from, but I don't know how your culture rules over those things. There are people who, like women, who think because of pregnancy, I can capture this man.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's
when
a
you,
whole another. Yeah.
yeah, well, I'm trying to answer your question, but if it comes from situation like that, there are fathers who will not care about the child, or whatever the child does, they don't care, and they leave the child to his own detriment. Anything you do is none of their business. There are a lot of parents who are like that. I'm not saying all parents are the same. There are a lot of parents who go out of track for their children. No
Yeah.
matter what it costs them, they will do whatever it takes to guide their children. But there are other parents who will never do that. Because for me personally, you check the background you are coming from. But when your father is not doing that, does not mean you have to go about misbehaving, because there is a right and wrong to what everybody does. If you if you live wherever you live, you show a good example, everybody embraces you. But if you
Yeah.
say because the father is not, he who is careless about the child, he, as in he don't need anything concerning the child. He didn't raise the child properly and is not guiding the child or counseling the child. That means you, as the son or daughter, you must play your own part because if anywhere you are living, there are laws that are guiding your environs. That's why from my place they said a child that is not having father and mother, whenever they are advising the one that has father and mother, he or she listens. So
Yeah.
if you find out that your father is the type that don't guide you, that means you have in your own way, if there is a family you are close to, a very close friend. So when they are guiding that friend, that means you have to pay attention. You have to understand without my father, I can do you can wake up as you growing up gradually and you find out that your dad is somebody that steals. So that does not mean you bend to that because you know the law is against it. So
Right.
that kind of father, I think, is not what the child can lean on. And from my own experience, I think those kind of father are the ones that take claim at the end of the day. When
Hmm.
the child becomes something good, they start battling, running around. Who knows the child and who is this that is close to the child? Is my son or is my daughter? I want to speak with him. Then you have lost the track of fatherlyhood. When you
Yeah.
guide a child, he or she will not ever forget. When you want to do something, you pick up, this is what my father told me then that I should not do. You deviate from it.
Yes.
There are a lot
Yeah.
of resolutions you want to make in certain year. You can say, in this year I will do this. But if you remember your background and how your father have been encouraging you to do good, you leave those things and do what is right. So the kind of parents we come from, the kind of family we come from, really writes something about us, but we can rewrite it.
Hmm.
Our father might be careless, but that does not mean when you are raising children, you will not care about them, you will ignore them. So that let that spirit of ungodliness end with your father. And you, as the sibling, so you have to make sure your own children, you guide them in the best way that they will not deviate from what is good. So that is what I see in that aspect.
All right. Thank you.
Uh,
That's a very. It seems to me that Tiasha agreeing with your explanation as well.
You know what?
Good evening, everyone. I don't know if you hear
I
me.
I wouldn't if I wouldn't know the culture you guys grew up in,
Good.
right?
okay.
Because we do have some differences. Like there is still certain things that, I mean, your point of views like are really from your culture. And I do appreciate it. And I'm encouraging even my husband now because he's part of your culture to
Okay.
to reflect that on our kids, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, but as I said, we Europeans, we unfortunately don't have this point of views, or our situations are not that narrow, if I might use that word, because there are different situations, There are
Yeah.
like fathers that are present, but they are not a father figure. They are just there, like, I don't know, I'm your friend. No, you're not. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
they take the fatherhood as a joke. Then there are cases that don't show up. There are cases that are separated and there are loving parents, both of them, like father and mother, they are united, although in separate households. Situations are like limitless in this case. But I do appreciate what you said, and about, especially about that, if you have a friend or a family member you can look,
Of course.
Yeah.
up to. So
That's
I
true.
Okay.
appreciate that part. I do.
That is so. It is so important. I love the fact that you put it the aspect of culture in it. The fact remains
Yeah.
that even in titles discussion, I don't think it boils down to our culture generally. I think his point could be applied globally. It doesn't
Globally,
matter
yeah.
if you are coming from
No,
Japan.
I didn't mean that he was just focusing. I meant like the way he saw it, as
Okay,
overall, like the suggestions he portrayed then out of it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
That was what was fascinating. What I meant is like in my culture, the view wouldn't be like that.
Definitely, that's
Mm.
true because we are part of
Yeah,
the environment that we grew up in. That is so true. That is so
yeah,
true. From our discussion, what one thing I have noticed already is that the problem is the same anywhere we go,
Yeah.
although our approach to it might be different based on where we grew up and the
yeah,
experience we had growing up. And it is also important because the question is listening to the two of you. It, I think I now agree that definitely you need a father, even being an adult. And at the same time, listening back to what Titus said as well, it becomes even a duty for the grown up child to decide if he or she is going to maintain the legacy of the father. And if he finds out that that legacy is nothing to write home about, the child can distance themselves from that bad legacy, unquote, from the experience that they have, and create their own self. So at the same time, it could happen that in our life, due to the circumstances that we find ourselves, being far away from our quote unquote father may mean a good thing for us as well.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I answered this question, and yeah, I
Mhm.
mean, growing up without him, I'm still like yes and no. I'm still insisting on that because yeah, I do understand why you need it.
Yeah.
I mean, why you need that father figure, but I also understand me and my experience. I just got used to it. My mom was my dad, as funny as that might sound. Like she was the one who taught me how to change the light bulb, or I don't know.
Yeah, but that is because there was no
Screw.
Okay.
father figure
In
at
your
home.
Pedro, 1 second. In your own case, was there issue of parent separation?
Also was part of it, yeah. But it was more about him deciding not to be in contact with me as much as I would like to, or maybe it would be normal.
Okay. Well, when a family is separated, is another ball game.
Entirely.
Whoever the kids decide to go with, definitely we tell on them how they are being brought up. For me, I wouldn't blame anybody that is being raised by a mother. She was there and she's always looking out for the mother, not looking out for the father.
Hmm.
Yeah,
But because if you need me tomorrow, why don't you play a good role with me today so that we'll be together tomorrow? So when the father
yeah,
was not is not in any child's life, if you remember, there was a way I stated it, I threw it into what I said before,
Mm.
because if you are not there, you are not there.
Yes.
yeah.
You can't come from the sky and want to be there now because this child is okay. I need him or her because it's my old age. I just need to bring my family together. It doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
So that is
Now
what
this I
I
agree
believe.
100%.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because whom you know is who you know. But in cases that both the father and mother are together, they are not separated, and things happen that the children don't even care about their father, they only care about their mother. That's a different
hmm,
thing entirely. Because I believe those kids, they don't know what they are doing. You love
Absolutely.
both
yeah,
parents the same way, the way they raise you to love them and love yourself, even your siblings. When you are out of that point, you are really not doing the right thing. Because
That's so
when,
Yeah.
you know, at the age we are, if we still, I have mother who is well grown, my father is no more. But from beginning, from when I learned to say, okay, I will give them their monthly salary, it was equal
Hmm.
because I don't know who raised me most, but all I know is that the both of them have put in their best effort to raise me. So
yes.
whatever
Amen.
I'm
Yeah.
giving to them is divided equally. Do you
Good.
Yes.
understand? So that
Yes.
is what I see there. Maybe in case of separation, definitely kids will cleave to their mother, some will cleave to their father. So in just that one is a different ball game.
That is so true, and I think this is an opportunity for me to make it clear again. I mean, for our listeners or anybody that will come across the video later on, this particular topic today that we are talking about has to do with a situation whereby the those that are not in particular good terms with their parents today, or their father in particular, are actually the ones that they didn't have separated parents. Or even if that's the case, I really want the focus of our discussion today to be specific on those that along the line had a very good relationship with their dad growing up, but over time, maybe something happened in their life or other things come up that is beyond their control. They never find it necessary anymore to take care of their father, especially in this case, parents. That's I will bring this back a little bit to our culture. When I mean our culture, coming from Nigerian and most African culture, whereby we basically do not have government finance schools. Our parents, in recent, sent us to schools. They spend their hard-earned salaries and everything, training us, sponsoring us to university level and everything, fed us, and did everything humanly possible to make sure that we are okay. I think it is disgraceful that today, some of us, despite the fact that we are very far away from home, we don't find it necessary to keep in contact with such parents. This is one of the main things that I would like us to focus on. What we have discussed so far is very, very important. In the case of those that have parents that are separated and everything, we can sit down and have a discussion about that in a more detailed and comprehensive way, because I believe that is also a situation that a lot of us are going through today in our various homes and in our society. However, there are fathers today, as we speak, they did the best that they could for their family, irrespective of what happened. Maybe they made some mistake along the line. Their kids no longer find it necessary to call them or talk to them. So that brings me to the second question that I would like to put to every of us, because I have listened to Tasha, I have listened to Titus. So, what I want to know is this: can fathers still be a mentor to grown up children then, despite all
Repeat the
the
question,
things?
please.
I said, can fathers still mentor adult children?
Yeah,
Really,
definitely. I'll throw light on that.
you have thrown light on it before. I would like you to buttress on it a little bit, because why am I saying this? I genuinely believe that some people do not call their parents because there is no monetary benefit attached to it. I have seen a situation whereby someone openly and explicitly said that he doesn't have any need to call his father. What is he going to gain from doing so? With this, I mean from economic terms.
It
So
definitely.
if your dad is not a millionaire, if your dad does not have a lot of financial resources, can that person mentor you, or if yes, in which way?
Okay. Uh, Pertaining whoever that said that when he calls his father, he's not having any benefits from the call. So what would be the reason of him calling the father? Well, I think there is an adage that says, "Do to others what you want them to do to you." We have
Yeah, the,
some
the golden
things,
rule.
yeah. When things happen, our parents will say, "As you do to me, so will your children do to you." You understand? So
Hmm.
that's what we hear from them more of the time. So it is a good thing, but one thing is a lot of persons have been able to put themselves in jeopardy
Hmm.
because when a parent that sends you to school, and after which, from where we are coming from, we know, sorry, Tasha, it might not be the same with your culture. So from where we are coming from, we have parents who schooled you, who push you through the not through your schooling to the tertiary education, and when you come out and there is no job for you, they go to a certain form of a bank, but normal individuals that can lend you money, they go to them, they will give them the documents to a land or a building, even the building they are living in, for this child to travel abroad in
As a
search of
collateral.
greener pasture. But you, whom your father have done this for, will come to the same Western world, live a life you are not supposed to be living. When you start any salary, you spend extravagantly, and at the end of the day, you say, "Oh, the last time I spoke with my father, he was talking about money." And I will, because of that, I have cut ties with him. I don't have any discussion because if you check, if he's saying there is no financial benefit, equally where we are coming from, we know our parents have struggled so hard to give us all they could. There was nothing left, and at the end of the day, when you become something, you are supposed to replicate and say, "Okay, let me now at this old age that my father cannot even go to the farm or do anything, let me help from here." But some persons will not do that. Rather, they will focus on doing things exorbitantly with money, and they will just ignore the family. It's not that they don't have monetary or financial benefit from whenever they talk to their parents. It's just that they are being nonchalant of their duties. They have grown up to a certain stage. A man at his 80s, you don't expect him to go and break his waist in the farm or work in the factory to feed himself. If all he has earned, even if he was a civil servant and he was paid gratuity. If all he has earned, he has spent it on this child, and now this child is turning his back against him, focusing on other things, is a big slap on the family because definitely the child will come back one day. The same house you were born and raised, that your father has used as a collateral to take money from someone, will not be there again. So, and you come and tell me to me that you are successful. You are not successful. You are a paid child to that family. Why others who their father did not even sell house, they come back, take their parents out of the mud house they had before, and rebuild a new house for them and make their parents live comfortably. So a lot of persons don't call their parents because you might feel the man, he don't know about Western world. What advice does he have to give to me? Even the advice he will give to you, as someone who is living in the village, will still help you here.
That's so
Governments
true.
have the same rules everywhere, just
That's
little different.
I
So
quite
if they
agree.
guide you on the rules that governs this community, don't be a theft, don't be termed as, let me say, a rapist. It's still going to help you while you're in the Western world. So
So
if
true.
I think when you listen, it reminds you more. When someone is teaching you, it's different from when you read from the book. When you listen, it reminds you more of that your father has said. They do this thing repeatedly. Parents guide repeatedly. So when they are guiding you, there is no limit to their guidance if they are really ready to do that. You understand? There is no limit to their guidance. They guide consecutively. When they call, anytime you speak with them on phone, that guidance come immediately. Where are your kids? I hope you are bringing them up well in God's fearing way. I hope where you are not mis, you are not having misconduct of anything, and I hope you are doing good as well. Take care of your wife. Don't be having issues with her. You feel that 2 minutes guidance is nothing, but it's something. Maybe when you want to go out of track and you reflect on what your dad told you last week or a month ago, you say, oh, this man with his advice again. And you bend a little bit from what you were supposed to do. It has saved a lot of persons within the Western world, even in Nigeria. Because
That's
there
true.
are ways, even when we watch movies back home, our Nigeria movies and Africa movies, you see when someone is being approached, ah, we have a operation to carry out next week. We want you to be part of us. But at a certain point, this person will come and remember this is the family I'm coming from. This is how my father have been guiding me and making me to understand it's not good to be a criminal. Maybe at the end of the day, he will find a way of telling them off and say, no, I will not be chance. I have appointment. But when those persons go for that robbery, they will all be caught or be killed. So because of parental guidance, he will be saved. You understand? Even here, while you live here, if you still have a father that mentors you or guide you, it's wise for your father to still call you at this point. What are you doing in Europe? Which particular work are you doing? You tell your father. Your father might make a suggestion to you. Are you sure if you have up to this money, if you come back to Nigeria or to any African country and invest in cocoa business or cassava or any business, are you sure it will not be better because of the future? So, when you sit in that kind of situation, when you are being asked a question, your father guides you on what to do, you sit again, reflect on it several times, you know, see it. Is it the right thing for me to do? Where I am now, am I supposed to still be at this level? Or I'm supposed to own a company and employ people? So when you look at that, even in your immediate place of residence, whether in the Western world, you can use that guidance of your father and say, okay, he have said if I can do this, why don't I just open a company here instead of working for someone? So you gather whatever you have worked and whatever the savings is and look to one investment that can help you out and go up with it. So
That's so
that is
true.
what I see there.
That's so true.
Parental guidance, even at old age, is very, very paramount.
I would like to know Tasha opinion concerning this, especially coming from the Europeans' perspective. Tasha,
Oh, you got me there.
because
Guidance.
I think this does not have anything to do with being a European or African.
Please,
It, it,
Pedro, please.
it does.
I'll be back in
It
few
does.
minutes because my battery is not
Okay,
charged.
perfect.
It's
Thank you so
running
much.
off.
Okay. All right, thank you so very much. Thanks for your time.
Mm.
Um, it's interesting to hear, you know. It's very very interesting to hear this his perspective, but his perspective is really like the way you guys are brought up,
Yeah.
the way you see a father figure, the way you expect your father, you know, as a certain role or what to do or what he should say or how he should say it. Do we need a guidance? Yes, but can this type of guidance come only from your father? I don't think so,
Okay.
right? Because like when he focused now basically on, let's say, guidance as an advice of maybe business or whatever. I don't know. Mom can do that too. A brother, a grown-up brother can do that. An uncle can do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
There are figures that whoever likes you or loves you enough, whoever cares about you, can be your guidance in this case.
Yeah.
If you don't have a father figure like I haven't, my mom was there. You know. Um, so to that, do we need a father guidance? Slightly, no. I don't think so. Maybe that has to do with my culture. Maybe it has to do with my upbringings or my story. I don't know. But I
I
don't know.
would.
As you,
Mm-hmm. Go
no,
on.
no, no. Go on, go on.
No, I would say probably it has to do with your upbringing or your circumstances. And my reason is this: I have I have met some European leaders as well. That I have read some autobiography and everything, where a lot of leaders, even in Western world, they kind of praises the role of their father in their life in being able to make some decisions and everything. So I don't want a situation whereby our discussion has to be using one brush to paint father as everything to us in life. That is not the goal of our discussion. The important thing that I would like anybody that listens to us to take away from this is that despite the circumstances, no matter what may have happened, there are still some good things that could come up from our relationship with our parents. Which you have rightly said, your mom was a very important figure in your life.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
for some other people, I also want to go back to what you said earlier on. Despite the fact that your mom played an important role in your life, you also admit that it would have been better if your dad was there.
Absolutely, especially in certain cases. I am not disputing that fact.
Good.
Absolutely.
So I believe
Absolutely.
based, based on that alone, I believe that even being an adult, it could still be very, very helpful. I don't think we only need our father simply because we are young. Because if we actually have someone that can actually that we respect enough, because most of the mistake we make in life, in my opinion, is not being able to listen to someone that we respect enough. There are some people that we really respect them. It's not as if they have anything to even give to us material wise, and we listen to them. So that's the reason why I was shocked when that friend said that he doesn't have any reason to call his dad because there is no monetary gain. With the way he puts it anyway, that was what I read from his saying. He doesn't call his father because there is no monetary gain to it. And I believe as human being, I don't think that's it. I don't even want to attribute that to his origin. I believe it could also be in Europe here as well that some people could be selfish enough. They are not relating with their father, probably because they don't have any material gain. I may be wrong, but
Oh, regardless of my situation, I find that very sad. Like, I still wish up to today that I would have that. I don't know, a day in a week that I would know that I'm gonna hear from my dad.
good.
Like, I wish for that, you know. Although I know that it's basically almost unfixable, irreparable, I do still want that. And I don't agree with that. Like, I mean, a parent is not just a financial provider. Far away from it. It's much deeper than that, you know?
Of course.
Once you are capable of earning your own money, you are your financial provider. Forget
Absolutely.
about occasional help here and there, you know, life gets tough sometimes, fine.
You know, I,
Um,
I said earlier on we are very selfish these days. Most of us are very selfish. We don't. I don't think we think a lot of things true enough before we say them. Very many of us
does
are
it
selfish.
does it have something to do also with the way, like, the person in this case was brought up with? I mean, the thought, like, you can have everything you want, and now that it's gone, it's like, what else should I do?
Yeah, I
What
think
was
that
it? Was the relationship based on material upbringing?
it could be, or probably, I don't know his story that way.
Right. Okay.
It might be a situation, he might have grown up in a situation whereby the dad was not necessarily at home or not part of the family. You know, at times
Hmm.
when people are divorced, they start buying their children with material gifts.
Yeah.
There is also that problem in the world as well. So instead of
Mhm.
cultivating a good relationship with their children, they end up spending material things to attract the attention of their children. So imagine
Mhm.
somebody growing up in that circumstances. So all he ever knew was a relationship between him and his father based on material exchange. Probably
Yeah.
the man grew up, the man is old at the moment and not able to provide like he used to do, and they have a problem.
Hmm.
I don't know the details completely, but I believe he might be coming from that circumstances. Because being an adult, I'm talking of someone that is more than 30 years old, posing the with what he posed to me was, I don't do this because I don't have any material gain from it. And it could be as well, there is still polygamy in my country from where I'm coming from. It could be
Hmm.
that he came from a family whereby probably there are a lot of them in the family. Anything could be the reason why he has that kind of a position, although I disagree with him. Anyway, Pastor, it's already 8 o'clock. I don't want to keep you that long, but there is just one question I would like to ask in conclusion, if you don't mind.
Go on.
Good. We have talked about fathers to this moment, and you were saying something before I intervened, that anyone could give you an advice even if the person is not your father, just as
Yeah.
your mom, just like the role your mom played beautifully in your life. So my discussions today still has to do with father, so I don't want to mix everything up. I will still
Yeah.
ask, based on what you know today, do you think a father can be a trust confidant for us as an adult? I mean, I just want you to reflect on what
Mm.
Title said earlier on,
I,
even based on
I
your
think,
experience. Imagine, excuse me, Sasha, imagine you having a dad that could have been there for you. I really need you to separate yourself away from it and look at it globally.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can answer that. I think that I'm not gonna, I mean, be narrow-minded in this case. I think yes, but as a woman, I think to just certain extent, right? Because there is still like that gender separation, that there are certain things that the father just can't, or it might weird you out, or you know what I mean. Um, but yes, and I alone, I wish that I had that, you know, like those little secrets, father daughter in my case, that special bond, deeper connection. It might be like I know cases when, like, even a girl, like a woman, okay,
Mhm.
now, um confined in her father more than a mother, because they had that father daughter bond. Because
Yeah,
it is something, when people say that, it's not for nothing. There is something about it. I see my husband and our daughter now.
good.
There is some bond that you just can't break. It's different. So yeah, I do believe that that's possible. Again, as a woman, I can say that if I put myself in that situation, I think that it would go to certain extent. Then the other things are for mom.
Yeah.
A woman to woman kind of a
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a
That
man, if I may add here, I'm sorry to interrupt. I see my husband with his dad.
good.
and that's like everyday calls. And sometimes I'm just sitting there in awe how good the connection between them is, because he literally tells his father everything, like, and by everything I mean everything. So yes,
That's
yes, and I
unbelievable.
think that it's very important too.
I mean, I wish if I had known that you have experience of this nature, I would probably not ask you the question even because it's like a giving, like you have something already. But it's a beautiful thing to know. I really thought about this question because I, for one, I no longer have a dad in my life, and there are some cases in which I wish I had him. I could have been able to
Hmm.
share some. Even there are some decisions that you need to make. It will have been very interesting sharing it with somebody that have had experience in that area. Of course,
Hmm.
anybody can do it for you. But
Yeah.
for the fact today that we are talking about fathers, and some actually do have a father in their life, and they are not taking
Hmm.
advantage of that weight of knowledge, wisdom that their dad could provide. I mean, looking back again to what Titus was saying, I think it's a whole lot that is missing for them. I
Hmm.
and to this I would add as well. There is this general saying, it's very popular these days, that dad actually help their daughters to vet men when they are of dating age. Do you think that's true?
So yeah, I think that it could be. I think that it could be, but again, to I think that it also depends on the certain situation, the individual stories. There is so many elements into this. It's not just like a father and a daughter, or a father and a son.
Hmm.
You know, it's not just about the roles that we were born into or given. Um, it goes beyond that, and I say it is like, again, a father is not just financial provider. It goes deeper. It's about
Hmm.
how he loves the mother. It's about how he even walks, talks, how he will prepare the meal, how he
Yeah,
will look at the daughter, I don't know, in a new dress, how he will teach, I don't know, a son to ride a bicycle. You know,
yeah,
a father is, I don't know, it's more. And I think that it goes from there.
that's
That
interesting. I mean, I know, like you are saying, because I really want our listener to get this as well. Of course, there are no kids, but I just want to make it clear. I don't want to leave things as unclear for anyone. It is true that one may not have a dad growing up, but I
yeah.
do believe that a lot of problem, domestic violence and everything, would, would a lot of them would have been reduced if we have great parents, and in this particular case, father in our life. It will have been really, really great. Unfortunately, we don't live in a world that is perfect. Some of us have them, some of us do not have them. And even if you don't
Do
have
you
it, okay.
Sorry, do you think that you would reduce it? Because sorry to say, from, I don't know, at least here in UK where I am currently, there is a lot of domestic violence happening from adults, like grown ass men, who are fathers, and then they end up in jail, right? And you have kids here who are uncontrollable, at least for a single mothers, all confused, left alone, one of a sudden. You
Mhm.
understand? Uh, Fighting mental issues of their own because of them being abused or whatever. Now the child is misbehaving, and the circle goes on. The child thinks that it's okay. So, do you think that just having a father, because in my case, let me use my case, he was an alcoholic. And I do have in my memory of one time when he actually held a knife and went towards my mom and stabbed the knife in a wooden frame of our window. As a child, why do I need to have this memory? So no, I don't want you to be together because you might hurt my mom, you might hurt me, you might hurt yourself. You are better off separated, go apart. But what I want in this case is, if you two are not good for each other, can you try to be good for your child? Because it's not your child's fault he or she was born into this world, you know?
Yeah,
And if you don't, I'll say hate, okay? It although it's a strong word, but if you hate mom, do you need to hate the children too?
it shouldn't have been like that. And
You shouldn't, but it's a very common thing right now. You
yeah,
know, what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing is it's sad. It makes me sad.
that is why this conversation is important, because some of us have this burden, some of us have this experience in our life. We've been able to survive it. I believe if we unite our voices together and even promote discussion of this type in platform like this, it can go a long way. At least
Yeah,
an information can cause a change in someone's life. Nobody genuinely like
definitely.
a family that is disorganized. If even with the experience, using it as an example, it's okay, but it's still an exception. Generally, we will love to see families together, a place whereby the parents are able to work together to create an enabling environment for their children. So ideally, a father should be able to carry out his responsibilities in a family. This does not mean that a mother is cannot play the same role, because at times we want to be too politically correct. I understand that we are advanced and everything, but there are certain things that I would even say biologically, but it comes naturally. It should have been. It is expected of fathers. I don't know if it's still politically correct to say it in Europe, but it is expected of fathers to at least be there as a source of defense if for their family, even in terms of physical harm, in terms of an attack. Literally, a dad is expected to be able to protect his family. I'm not saying that, defense could be defined in any way, but at least it is expected of them. I think the best example to use, the best way to describe what I'm trying to say is that it's like a man not being able to open door for their wife. I mean, this little act of courtesy that makes you look civil simply because you live in a society that now believe that we are all equal, we have rights and everything. You neglect certain things that you are supposed to do as a man. What I'm trying to say, Tasha, is that despite the fact that we live in a Western world, I genuinely believe, this is my opinion. Anyone can challenge me, but I genuinely believe that as men, we are again to be educated, to know some basic, I would say cultural values that we should uphold as a man in our society. Either you live in London or you live in Milan, wherever you live, it doesn't make any difference. You should treat your family with respect, protect the life of your children and your wife, and the wife should do the same when the duty calls for it. So a man should not neglect his or her responsibilities. A man should protect his family. This, I genuinely believe, it might be because I'm an African, whatever the case may be, I don't know, but I genuinely believe this. And I don't want to see a situation like the experience you just described in the UK, where men themselves are being the source of violence in the life of their children. That's so fucked up, believe me. That shouldn't be
Yes.
the case.
Uh, yeah. No, I do. Like here, I do agree, and it might be something a little bit to do with our different cultures. Yes, most probably, but I don't know. You know, it's a very hard topic, especially for me, the way I grew up and the way I see it, and then comparing my story to, I don't know, your stories, and my husband's story, or a story of a friend from, I don't know, a neighbor country next to me. We are all different, and although I don't know, although if even if the stories and the situations are the same, right? Let's say me and you have the same story, or you and somebody else. It doesn't mean that we're gonna be having the same views of the situation,
Absolutely.
or you know,
Uh, our
it's
views are not
also
going
the
to be
way
the
we
same.
process. Right. It's also the way we process our emotions, right? But when it comes to this aggression and all of that, and you said before, for example, that maybe if the fathers stuck around, there will be less violence, at least domestic violence. Which might be true in certain level. But then again, isn't it better than, or maybe we're gonna reduce it if more fathers actually decided to, no, this woman is not good for me. I cannot create a family, or I cannot maintain a healthy family. It's better to separate. I'm gonna step up as a father. You can't step up as a husband, but it doesn't mean you can't step up as a father. The problem is, I think in this society, what I notice now, and I'm talking about this modern Western world that too many people is looking up to, but they don't see, the harm that he's doing. We are
Hmm.
all so superficial.
That's
We
true.
forget about that deep feelings, emotions, connections, that, deepness of us, why we even exist, what we are, um, we are so worried about what car are we gonna drive, um,
Hmm.
um, the color of our house, which is not even important. The brand of clothes the kids are gonna be wearing. Like I mean, it's all about how the neighbor is gonna see us. Oh, we are shining. But that outer shine, that outer light doesn't mean anything if the inner light is broken or non-existent.
Yeah,
I cannot pretend to be happy because I'm driving in a new car.
not
That doesn't
possible.
make me happy,
Of
you know?
course.
So I don't know. Yeah, it would reduce it, but maybe even increase it. It's just it's such a it's hard.
Yeah,
Every coin has two sides, right?
of course, of
You
course.
flip it, you see something else. So
That's true. I said that based on, as a lot of research has said, two parents home is better for kids. That is, I'm not the one saying it, that is what they said. So, but I think I would love to post a question based on what you said, two parents home, what type of parents are we talking about here? Two parents home.
if you have a healthy family,
Mm-hmm.
right, and you have two, and I will use that word, and I'll proudly use it, mature people who enter the relationship, right, who
Mm-hmm.
decided whether or not, it's not necessary nowadays, get married, have kids, create a family. It's
Mm-hmm.
also, why do you have kids? Is it because the expectations of society? Or do you have kids because you are leaving a footprint behind?
Mm-hmm.
Or you want to put an impact in a future, whether it be yours or theirs or the world's, it doesn't matter. But why do you have a child? Why did you decide to have a child? If you did, right? Accidents happen. There are situations that, but I'm talking about healthy family, two individuals who knew what they are stepping into, who knew what they are signing for. That family has the ground to grow. Forget about the certain situations can happen in life, and I don't know, maybe you outgrow each other, maybe the love language is different and you need to go apart, and I applaud to that because going apart is hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's not, they say that's an easy way out. No, it's not. It's maybe it's a bit harder for a mom, especially if she has a full custody, because being a single mom in this society where you need to work and I'll say thrive, right? It's hard. But it's hard. I think that it takes a lot more courage than actually staying in a relationship and trying to fix unfixable.
That's no longer working. That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that.
So
And
if health, we are talking about healthy individuals, I will say yes, two parents are necessary for, I would say, a possible better future for a child, mentally as well, right? Because there are traumas involved in this situation as well. But
mhm.
at the same time, if you have at least one responsible parent in case of separation that is ready to step up, and I mean step up, then I think there are situations that I would say that even one parent can do as a good job as two can, to to certain level, don't get me wrong, but
No,
in order, I mean, I was sorry, I was basically raised up by a single parent, and even now, as I have a stepdad of, I think, 20 years, I'm not even too sure. um he's there, and I like him being there, but I like him being there because of my mom. you know he's
mhm.
there, and I know my mom is not alone, and I know my mom is happy, and I know my mom has that security, that love, that respect that she was missing all of this life. And yes, I do call him, and I'll use him for some fixing ups in the house, or having a banter with him like a mother and daughter used to have before. Now I use him as you're my stepdad. Let me hit you there. That's it.
That
So
means that means you agree we should call our fathers. If you call your stepdad and have this kind of discussion with him,
um,
it would have been great. For I'm not talking about you in particular based on your experience. I'm speaking generally.
I
It
I
will be
said I
great.
said it before when you asked me.
Yeah.
I don't think why not. Like if there is, like, in my case, if I
Mhm.
call him, I I'm not accepted by his wife. Apparently, anytime I reach out, I cause issue in their family. So that's why I'm also stepping away. But if I had a chance, I would. Why
Uh,
not? Even
uh,
even though that my situation is broken and maybe unfixable and stuff, yes, because regardless of whatever, I do need him sometimes. If not anything else, for him to ask me, "Are you okay?" You
Perfect.
know? Yeah. But when it comes to, like I said before, if we summarize now everything,
Mhm.
if he decides not to, I'm okay without him.
Yeah.
I
That
learned how to be without him.
that is a
Does it
big
affect me? Not anymore. Again,
difference.
I maybe even that's why I found the husband the way I did, because maybe I see a father figure in him as well. Because he
Mhm.
does guide me sometimes,
That
you
is how
know?
it should be. That is how it should
So
be.
so yeah, I mean, did I
Uh,
forgive? Yes, I did. Would I do it all over again? Probably. Would I change anything? Maybe. I've done mistakes as well, my
mhm.
stubbornness or whatever. But I do appreciate him. If not anything else, he still gave me life. You
Absolutely.
know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a very good note to conclude our discussion today. I really appreciate your time, and I'm so sorry that I thank you for the moment and everything. I really would love that you'd have been able to stay with your children because I overheard them crying and the rest. But look, I'm a father as well. I know how it could be.
Yeah.
I really appreciate your time. I really want you to know that I don't want this
No,
moment
thank you for
to go
having me.
over
Honestly, it
again.
was my pleasure.
Good. And the discussion today, we are going to leave it here, but I would like to bring you on some other time. We can touch on some other topics.
My pleasure.
I like your perspective, and I would like to share it with the world, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. You know where I am.
Perfect. Thank you so very much,
uh,
Tesha. My regards to your
Thank you
family,
too.
and do stay blessed. Bye for now.
One love. See
Bye
ya.
bye. Yeah. Ciao, ciao.